Well, I've boxed since I was about 5 or 6 years old. I had loads of gym shows. I only had 10 amateur fights. It's like a sentence I have to pay. Every 8-week camp, I'm paying my dues, and I've got to win that fight, and then my life gets to continue. At the end of the day, I love boxing, I love sport, but we're here to get paid as well. One day a week, I do have a Chinese bush.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the BlueTick show. Opposite me today, we've got one a little bit different. It's been a long time coming. It's the undefeated heavyweight boxer, Johnny Fisher. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Mikey. Good to see you, mate.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Listen, Johnny, we've been trying to get you on here from when the podcast first started. Yeah. You're finally here. We've got you here, and you've got a fight coming up in just under 3 weeks.
Yep, that's it.
And before we come on, you told me you're absolutely shitting yourself and you're scared.
Yeah, I am a bit nervous. I've seen the guests you've been having on. You've had some good people on, but no, it's good. Thank you for finally getting me on, and we've been trying to make dates work, and we're very busy people, but it's good to finally sit down with you.
Firstly, how are you looking forward to your fight?
Yep, ready, mate. Feeling really good. I've been in Vegas for a couple of weeks as well, training and sparring out there.
Lucky for some, eh?
Yeah, well, it's not as easy as you think. Going to Vegas, people think, oh, you're living it up, but it's proper grueling training camp.
Yeah,
so
I can imagine.
It's good. Now I'm back. I'm in that last little finishing touches, and we'll be ready to go. Well,
listen, Johnny, before we jump into your fight that's coming up, your success in boxing, let's throw it back to a little baby Johnny walking around, thinking, fuck me, I'm going to be a boxer soon. Yeah. What was it like as a kid? What was your childhood? Where are you from? How old are you now?
So, yeah, born and raised in Romford. That's why I'm called the Romford Bull. But I had a great childhood. I've got two brothers and a little sister. My mum and dad treated us all well. They raised us correctly. Got to try hard in everything you do. Always tried my best at school. Obviously, like everyone, played football growing up. Got into rugby as well as a teenager.
Well, you're a big lad, so it makes sense.
Yeah. And rugby, I've got some great memories playing team sports, but boxing's always been that one that's been a constant throughout my life. From as long as I can remember back, I've been had a pair of gloves in my hands, or wearing a pair of gloves, or having a bit of rough and tumble. But it's good. I've enjoyed. I've had a great upbringing.
Was your family ever involved in boxing?
My dad boxed when he was young for the Repton and for the Lion, but never professionally. But we've always had that grounding and that admiration for boxing and how hard it is and how disciplined you have to be. And we've had it grounded in us from a young age, them morals and that discipline. You need to be a good boxer.
So you never had someone to look up to as younger thinking, I want to be like my dad and be a boxer, or I want to be like uncle. It was never nothing like that.
It's more the fact that my dad and my granddad were big parts of my life, and they knew how important boxing is and how good it is as a sport, and that's what sort of motivated me to get involved.
But listen, it makes sense. You're smashing it now, as we all know.
I've got a long way to go, but as you said,
you're young as well. How old are you now?
I'm 23. I'm 24 soon, but I'm 23. I've got a long way to go, and there's no point rushing that process, because I've seen the last 2 years what I've done. I've achieved a lot, but imagine another 2 years or another 5 years where we could be. So there's no point rushing that process.
You're not old either. It's not like you're 35 years old and you've got to rush and win it. You're young. Yeah. You've got a nice age as well. We're the same age, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
You're 23?
I'm 24 next month.
Are you joking?
Mate, don't talk to me about you being 23. You're fucking double the size of me.
We look bloody old. I thought you was about 30 as well. I thought I'll get told I'm
that's
like 30.
Definitely getting edited out.
No, but I thought that's in a good way. You know, you look mature. Yeah. So that shocked me a little bit.
So listen, take it back to your childhood. I want to know, what was school like? Was you in trouble at school?
I was a good boy at school.
Really?
I was head boy of my school in year 11.
No chance.
In Marshall's Park in Romford. Then I went to Cooper's for sixth form, and I wanted to always be. Well, what it was, right in year 7, we'd done this thing called the CATS test, and I did rubbish. Everyone does it. I got like 4.
What was it, like an exam? Or?
It's like a IQ exam sort of thing, and and I got like 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10.
So you done shit.
And then my dad was like, what the hell is this? Like, all my mates were getting 8s out of 10, 9 out of 10. And I went into my head of year's office, and there was like a board, like the red, the orange, and then the green. Like the best kids were on the green. I was down on the red. I was like, I never want to be on the red again. And I was only 11 years old. And then from that day forward, I've tried my hardest at all my schoolwork and everything. And I left my school as the highest achiever at GCSE. I got 5 A stars and 5 A's. And then I went to done my A-levels at sixth form. I got 2 A stars and an A. And then
you're smart.
Yeah, but it's because I tried, you know.
Yeah, you put effort in.
I wasn't. Not that I'm naturally clever. I had to work for it, and I worked hard. And I think you naturally pick things up when you work hard. You get better at things. So
what's going on, guys? If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you scroll down. We're now live on Spotify, so you can watch us while you're driving. Listen to us while you're in the gym. Pretty much just listen to us anywhere, and make sure you give us a 5-star review on Spotify. Thank you. Because when you think of heavyweight boxing, you think they must be so aggressive, they must be dangerous, they must be scary, they must be angry all the time. And you're just genuine, down to earth and humble.
Yeah, you have to be, because there's a time and a place when you have to be aggressive and you have to be formidable and take people on. But why would you want to be like that all the time? You've got to be your normal person as well, and you don't get on with people if you're like that. And once you know you can be like that, you don't have to act like that to people, because people know you can do it. So
the thing is, I'm pretty sure you know that you can hold your own. You ain't got to go out there and try to be Mr. Big Tough Man on the streets.
And I know there's always a guy on the streets who's tougher than you or can do something to you. So why would I try and get involved and antagonise by any of that?
And it's not worth losing what you've built up now, especially at such a young age. You've built up such a career already.
I've got a great backing behind me. I've got really good supporters, and I'm very grateful for where I am. And I know it's from my own hard work, but it's because people want to support me as well, and I'm very grateful for that.
So how did the boxing career start? What age?
Well, I've boxed since I was about 5 or 6 years old. I had loads of gym shows. I only had 10 amateur fights.
Yeah, that's not much.
That's not a lot at all. And it was 6 of them were junior before I was like 14, 15 years old. And then I had 4. I actually had a break. So I played rugby at sixth form. And the first game of rugby I played, I broke my hand. I didn't know it was broken for the first bit, but it just came out and it was all like ballooned up. And I thought I've got to rest that for a bit. But I never rested it properly. Yeah. Played rugby for 2-3 years. Went to university in Exeter, and that had a big rugby set up, so I started doing that. And then it was only by chance, really, my second year of uni, I started boxing again with one of my mates called Zane, who was there. Okay. And just started doing a bit of pads, had a few amateur fights, won 3 of them by round 1 knockout. And then I started sparring a guy called Joe Joyce and a guy called Dave
Joe
Allen.
Joyce.
Yeah, and just went from there. And they said, do you want to turn pro with us? After I sparred them a few times, and I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. It was in the middle of COVID, and I thought, why not give it a shot?
So this has only been like a 3-year thing then, no? How long have you been pro for now?
I turned pro in August 2020.
So you've only been at it 2 years, really, two and a bit years.
I didn't make my pro debut until February 2021, so it was actually yesterday, 2 years since I had my first fight. So
congratulations.
Thank you. We've built up a lot in the last 2 years, but I know how much further I've got to go, and that's what keeps me grounded.
What's going on, guys? This video is being brought to you by Maurice Andrews Solicitors. As you're all aware, we've done a season 2 all about crime. If you watch that all and you're in any situation like that and need help getting out of the situation, reach out to Maurice Andrews Solicitors and see if it's something they can help you with.
Remember, there's a defense for every offense.
I think what makes you different to most heavyweight boxers or boxers in general is when you speak to a lot of boxers, they're so, like I said, aggressive and hungry. I can still see the hunger inside of you, but you're a lot different to most of them. You're a lot more easygoing. You wouldn't know. Don't get it twisted. You're massive. You fit the part. You look the part, but you're not like most boxers out there. They're talking about who they're knocking out next, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You're just quite chilled and say, listen, I put the hard work in, and the success comes with it.
Exactly. And I know when I get to fight night and fight week, you have to have that switch, and every boxer's got that switch where they go into that animalistic mode where you've got to go for it. But why do you need to do that all the time? You've got to be calculated. You've got to understand where you are. And if you are like that and you are managing your career correctly, then you give yourself a 100% chance to go as far as you can.
And how have you learned to put yourself in that animal mode when it is fight night?
It's just in you. I don't think you can train someone to be like that. I think it's in you. And I've always had that in me, that aggressive streak, but I've just learned to control it. Yeah. And I think that makes it a bit more effective when you can control it and turn it on and off, because you can't be aggressive all the time. No, even in the boxing ring, you can't just be gung-ho all the time. That's my style, to go for it. But you've got to even rein that in.
Because your last fight, you knocked the geezer out. I watched it. Beautiful knockout.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put that clip here so people who don't know about you, because there are many people now who don't know who Johnny Fisher is.
Good shot to the body this time from Fisher. It looks as though the end is nigh here as Musil desperately tries to cover up. Referee Marcus McDonald, you can see there, is looking on and he's seen enough.
You're not the biggest boxer in the world,
no.
But for what you've done in just under 2 years, not even long, is you smashed it. You have, no matter what. Credit where credit's due. I can't sit here and say you ain't done well. You're the same age as me. You got your 8 fights undefeated.
7 fights, 8th one coming up.
8th one coming up, and you're smashing it. You're smashing it. You're signed to, who you signed to?
Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing, and he gave me a chance when I first turned pro. I had a really good guy who was involved in my career early on, Sam Jones, and he got me with Matchroom and SJM Boxing, my managers, and they got me a Matchroom, and he took a punt on me, and it's sort of paying off because I bring a lot of fans with me, and it's going well. But as you said, my last fight, that guy was meant to take me 5 or 6 rounds because he's meant to be tough. He's been with a couple of other prospects and have taken them a bit longer, but it just happens that was my quickest win. So
really, quickest win?
Yeah, with heavyweights, anything can happen. So that's why they're one punch away, not only for me to get them, but for them to get me. Because anyone over 15, 16 stone, if they hit you on the chin, you're going to know about it. So that's why you have got to be cool, calm and collected, because it can all change very quickly.
And as much as we can sit here and talk about the positives of boxing, there must be negatives that come with it.
Yeah.
Have you had any injuries before a fight? You've had to... Well, listen, you're only 7 fights in, so of course you can't sit here and tell me I'm 30 fights deep, my 18th fight, I had this happen, but there are going to be a lot of things that do happen and get in the way. Hurdles that get in the way. Yeah. Training camps don't go the way you expect them to go.
Oh, of course. Every single camp, something happens.
Oh, really?
Or like something's not... if you have a perfect camp, something's not right. You'll get a little sniffle. My last fight, I had a little infection before it. My 5th fight, I had a broken hand, but I didn't know it was broken. It was just something... I was warming up on the pads in Ali Pali. Yeah. Like 2,500 of my supporters were there, and I just started... I had a little problem in the camp, and I thought, it'll go away. And then I started warming up on the pads, and I just thought, crunch, and like it was killing me. But what can I say? 5-10 minutes before I go out to the ring, nothing. I'm not going to say, it's hurting, I can't do anything. And I thought it'd be all right, and it was all right for the first round. Nothing really happened, and then I caught him with a big shot in the second round, and it just cracked. And then on the X-ray, it showed me it just cracked all down my metacarpal bone. But these little things, the little hurdles you come through. I got cut in the first 30 seconds of that fight as well. There's all little things that go wrong, but that all builds you for when you get into them fights, when you're 15, 20 fights in, you've had these little bits of experience where, all right, I've been in a little bit of bother before. I know how to handle it. I know what I've got to do.
Because if you ain't been touched and then on your championship fight, Geezer walks in and chins you and you're like, fuck, that's never happened before. You need it. You need to be hurt before.
And it's great to get the knockouts. I've had 6 knockouts, but that one fight where it took me 6 rounds, I fought the Spanish heavyweight champion. He's a decent level. He went a distance with a guy called Oscar Rivas, who's the current bridgerweight world champion. So he's been at a good level. And sometimes you need a fight like that to not only settle you up, but you know where you are and prepares you for them longer rounds. So at least I've got 6 rounds under my belt. But the other fights hadn't gone past 3 rounds, so it's important to get that in.
So what are like the problems with not being able to see friends, not being able to see families, even girls if you're taking them out?
Yeah, it's hard because a lot of people, especially for my family as well, because it's like I get moody the last 2-3 weeks of camp.
I can imagine.
You get a little bit moody because you've got to... You're getting tetchy, you're getting closer to it, and you know you've got to perform, the pressure's building. I'm getting better at dealing with it, but it's hard. But even your friends, like... They don't mean anything by it, but you can't see them or you can't be going out late, and they think because they're drinking and you're not drinking that's all right. You can still socialise, but you're still burning energy. Even girls as well, they don't understand. Like a lot of them don't understand the difference between boxing and other sports. Like other sportsmen, listen, I've got huge admiration for footballers, for rugby players, for team sports players, but boxing's a very individual thing, and the preparation for it. You're not like you're playing week in, week out. Yeah. You're built up for 2-3 months for this fight, and if you don't pass that hurdle and you lose,
it's all a waste of time, really, isn't it?
And you lose, and everything can come crashing down. So it's a big amount of pressure, and a lot of people don't understand boxing in that way.
And it's not like you have a team to help you perform on that night. As much as you've got your team to help prepare you, it's you.
It's individual.
If you lose, you've only got yourself to blame. One.
Yeah, as you said, like you've got trainers, you've got people you train with, but at the end of the day, you go in that ring and you don't perform. The only person it comes back to is you, because you're accountable for the people that you employ, the people that you work with, the people that you've associated with. It all comes back to you. There's no hiding place.
No, and at the end of the day, that is why you have got a good team behind you, because clearly whatever you're doing is working.
Definitely.
No matter what, even though we sit there seeing you yamming on Chinese, massive portions of Chinese.
And one day a week I do have a Chinese. Because
really? Still, even in fight camp?
Not this close to a fight. Yeah. But like up to 4 or 5 weeks before, I can have a Chinese and then I'll cut it off. But
you got to enjoy yourself.
I'm a heavyweight, and I discipline myself my whole camp. And then one time in a week, I'm a heavyweight. I can afford to have a little chicken chow mein or a special fried rice, But it's good. But as you said about it all comes back to you. It's very easy to point the finger and blame other people if things do go wrong, but at the end of the day, you've chosen them people, or it's you who've been in that camp. You can make decisions during the camp, so it all comes back to you, and that's why boxing's a bit different to other sports, because you're the only one who can ultimately be held accountable.
So I've got a question for you regarding like going on your fight camps and stuff. You recently got back from Vegas, you said.
Yeah.
It must cost a lot of money to go out there, take a whole team out there, train in all these boxing gyms.
Well, I'm very lucky because Joe Joyce is a big part of my team as well. We're in the same management, and he's a good friend of mine, and he goes and does camps out there for Vegas continuously, and he's at the top level. He's fighting at world level, so he's got great people out there with Ismail Salas and connections, so I can just hop on the back of him. I've got to get my flights over, obviously, which is expensive, but it's great to be able to have that little bonus where I can go there for 2-3 weeks, pick the brains of someone who's at the top level, and I can come back. It is very different. You go out there, you come back, and then it's a bit of an environment change, but if you want to be the best, you've got to sort of put yourself in an environment where you're not always comfortable, and then come back and you can reassess and go from there.
So that's a good thing. The good thing is you have got these people from where you first become pro who have stuck by your side, and listen, Joe Joyce doesn't gain anything by having you around at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's the good thing where you've got a friend who you can learn so much from him because he's at world level.
Definitely.
He's a champion.
Definitely.
And you'll get there one day, of course, hopefully. But you're good that you got that circle.
He's sacrificed a lot. Not sacrificed, but he doesn't have to have me around.
That's what I mean.
He can just say, I don't want Johnny there. But I think I am beneficial for him because he's my mate and I train hard and I'm sort of competitive as well, and I think it spurs him on a little bit when we're doing little drills and stuff in the strength and conditioning and stuff. It spurs him on a little bit, but as you said, he's welcomed me in and he's helped me with my sparring and stuff. He's brought me on since I was like 18, 19, and now he's got me to a point 4 or 5 years down the line where we can spar and have really good competitive spars. So it has helped him in a way, but it's good that you've got a genuine guy like that who you can look up to and work with.
Because many people, and I can imagine in the sport of boxing, there's a lot of haters.
Yeah.
And some people might not want you there because one day you might need to fight Joe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the truth. One day he might become, you might be champion, he might be the champion. You've got to fight him. You're not going to say, no, I don't want to become champion.
It's like anyone in the boxing world, like people you go and spar with, like I sparred with Tyson Fury, sparred with Daniel Dubois. You all might eventually, not like I'm on their level yet, but
that's the goal is to get there. You're not
doing
to that level. You're not doing it for fun. You're doing it. You want to be champion.
Make the numbers up. You want to be up there as well. But that's why it's good. With a lot of boxers, the boxers themselves are very humble and they're very welcoming because they know how hard the sport is and they want to see other people do well as much as they want to do well. So it's not really the boxers themselves who are like that, but everyone's always eyeing it up. Oh, Johnny, you could fight him one day, or you could do this, or you could do that.
Or if you give someone a good spar as well, they're like, oh yeah, shit.
Yeah. So everyone's always watching and everyone's always talking, but you've got to sort of block that out because your path is different to everyone else's. And if you meet, you meet. If you don't, you don't. But eventually, you want to get to that top level. And
you must have some people in your head who you'd love to fight.
Yeah, there's loads of people you'd love to fight, and you'd have to. You think about what ifs and what and buts, but if I'm being honest, Mikey, the way
every fight.
Yeah, if the money's right, you fight anyone, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Anyone.
You're going to say no to it. Money's money, innit?
At the end of the day, I love boxing, I love sport, but we're here to get paid as well.
You're prize fighters at the end of the day.
We're prize fighters. What we do week in, week out, even at my level, the sparring, the training, you need to make sure that you're fully compensated for what you do, because one day it could all end and you could get nothing. So you've got to really. I don't think boxers are honest about that enough. Like in terms of, they don't say it enough, and we deserve to be paid and we deserve to be compensated because the stuff that we do is very, very, very difficult.
So I watched a TikTok. I'm not sure who said this, but it was a TikTok where it says, I think they were talking about footballers at this point, but it relates back to any sport at the end of the day. What's the retirement age for boxers roughly?
Well, if you're a heavyweight, you can be a little bit older, but
roughly, what is it?
30, 35.
So let's say 35, yeah? You've got 35 years to make as much money as you can.
Yeah.
Because after that, you're done. Not done in the sense as you're finished, but your career.
Some are even shorter than that.
So you've got literally, and you've not got 35 years, you're 24 now, you've got 11 years now to make enough money to retire your family.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
That's what I'm thinking about.
You've got to make smart investments.
Yeah. Listen, we all want to be champions. We all want to be a world champion. That's our aim. But the thing that's really in your mind is to get paid, because your mum and dad who sacrificed for you, your brothers, your sisters, you want to look out and you want to make sure at the end of it, when it all said and done, everyone forgets about you. Yeah. You can retire and you can have a nice life and you don't have to worry.
You don't want to go back to a job. Do you know what I mean? That's the whole thing. You've built up a career.
I've done the university life. When I came out of university, me and my dad were really struggling during COVID because we had a cheese business, right? And then we had to
cheese business.
Yeah, we used to buy. My dad still does buy and sells cheese, right?
Cheese.
It's very, very odd. Yeah.
What do you mean cheese? What, like blocks
wholesale
of cheese?
Blocks of cheese to like other wholesalers and restaurants. But obviously when COVID hit,
does he do Parmesan cheese?
Does Parmesan?
Oh, we need Parmesan cheese here at the restaurant.
We'll have to get you some.
I'm being serious.
Really?
Yeah.
Does halloumi as well?
Yeah, we do. We buy the big wheel of Parmesan.
Yeah, big one. And he does Padano. It does everything.
I will be in touch then.
Yeah, he does pallets of cheese. He does loads of it. But in COVID, obviously all our customer base was wiped out. So what we was doing, me and my dad, we was working. I would start a bit late. I would start at 10 a.m. and then we'd do all the orders and I'd work through till 2 a.m. at night doing all these.
From 10 a.m. till 2 a.m.
We would start because basically we started doing meat. We started selling meat as well to people's houses because we had no customers. So we started doing that, and I'd come home. I'd train from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. in the garden doing my boxing training, and then I'd do my university dissertation till about 4 a.m. After that, go to sleep, do it all again. We do that 6 days a week, and then Sunday we get a day off, and it was amazing. So I know what it means to work hard. So now I've got a chance to take this boxing as far as I can. I'm going to try and do as best I can to help my mum and dad, because I knew how hard it was then, and we was close to losing everything because our whole customer base was wiped out.
And what was it like as a childhood? Was you brought up in a wealthy family, or was it
just normal upbringing?
Normal.
Not poor, not wealthy, but my mum and dad always tried to, just normal. I'm just from a normal, ordinary growing up family in Romford, and we didn't ever have anything like excessive, but we never wanted.
You never
for
went
anything.
without, kind of thing.
No. So in a way that's a good thing, because I know I've got the aspiration to get there, but my mum and dad gave me the opportunities that I needed to, if I wanted to do it. So,
and now you've got the opportunity to change all your family's life.
Yeah.
You're not going to say no to it. It's in your hands, and all I can imagine is, even I'm just throwing it back to what you said about school.
Yeah.
You was on that red list once, and you worked your arse off to get best results in your school.
Definitely.
So if you can do that in school, which it shows you've got the dedication, it shows you've got the hunger, and it shows you've got the discipline to do it all. If you just put that all into boxing, I'm sure that's all you need, right?
If you work hard, listen, it's always a lottery in boxing, heavyweight boxing especially, but if you work as hard as you can, you always give yourself the best opportunity to be in the best position to be successful. So hard work is always the answer, in my opinion.
I can imagine all you do is work hard. Every
That's
day
it.
I'm on Instagram, clicking on my story, and you're only showing 5% of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because
It's
you're
only
not
little
gonna,
clips.
You're not going to sit there with a fucking video on you
No,
all day,
no,
there's
no.
a camera on you all day.
It's just little clips, but I like putting it on there because it motivates me. I know, and all my supporters are watching. I want to show them a little insight, and it just gives them the idea. I want people to know that I am working hard, because people support me. They come to my fights. They pay their hard-earned money to watch.
And I heard you're one of the biggest ticket sellers in... What was it? Who told me this? My best mate phoned him up earlier on. I said, I'm getting Johnny Fisher. He was like, no way.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to you, he was buzzing. He's from Romford. He was like, no way. He was like, mate, he smashes it when it comes down to selling tickets. So clearly you've got a massive following already.
Yeah.
And you're not nowhere near your prime.
No.
You're going to get there eventually, but you're already you're only 10% into your career.
Yeah.
And you've built up this fan base already where it takes people years to do. You've done it in 2 years.
Yeah. It's been brilliant, and I think it's where we just tried to be natural and be honest, and people buy into that. And we never intended, we never thought. I know I'd have a good support from where I live, but it's sort of grown not only from where I live and my university, but it's come from all over the country. People fly over from Ireland to watch me fight. I've got supporters in Canada and New Zealand, which is great.
Amazing.
But it's brilliant that people want to get behind it. But I think it's where we've tried to be genuine, and I never talk myself up too much or try and be too arrogant. I just tell people this is where I am. I'm honest about my career, and I believe I can get there, but there's a lot of work to do, and I think people buy into that, and that's why thousands of people come and watch, because they want to see someone honest try and do their best.
And the thing is, that is literally you to a T. You're just an honest, genuine person. You come in, and I can imagine. Listen, in your head, you believe you can beat any fighter in the world. That's just
you've got to.
You're not going to sit there and say, "Oh, I think I'm going to lose."
No.
You've already lost the battle.
Yeah.
And I think from just meeting you today, as much as I sit here and I look at you and I think you're just a nice guy, once you put them gloves on, it's time to go.
Yeah, it switches, and you have to, because, as I said, you're in a thing where it's you or the other guy. Yeah. That guy over on the other side of the ring, a big heavyweight.
He's there to knock you out.
If he lands it on your chin, and all the expectation is on me to win as well, that's disaster. So every time I go in that ring, it's like a sentence I have to pay. Every 8-week camp, I'm paying my dues, and I've got to win that fight, and then my life gets to continue. That's how I look at it. I'm just paying my dues, but I actually enjoy that process. I actually enjoy that thrill of thinking, all right, I've got to get in there, and my life continues if I win that fight.
And what's it like off camp? When camp's over, you're chilling with the family, with the friends and all that.
Yeah, it's good. I have a couple of weeks off. Normally after a fight, me and my brothers might go on holiday somewhere. Like we went to Mexico after one of my fights. It's a good laugh. My brothers are like my best mates. They're 21 and one's about to turn 20, so we're similar ages. They're characters in themselves. William's he's 6'7", blonde, like a complete crazy character. Henry does all the voiceovers on our videos and stuff. Very creative guy. So it's good fun when we go out. I've got a good group of mates as well. But
you're all a similar age as well, so it must be so amazing where you got your two younger brothers looking up to their older brother, like thinking, "Fuck me, look what he's done."
Yeah, but they're part of it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like we try and.
It's all a team. It's not.
If I do well, or Henry does well, or William does well, or my dad who's doing well, we're a family, so we all get involved. My mum works for me as well. I get her involved. So my little sister started helping out with all my admin stuff as well. So we're all doing it together.
That's what it comes down to, man.
Exactly.
It's a family team. There's nothing stronger than family at the end of the day. And if
You must be the same with your family. It's the same thing.
me and my dad, let's not get into that. But
No, but your dad is a massive part of your life.
my dad is literally my life.
Yeah.
Without my dad, I wouldn't be where I am today.
No, that's it. Same as me.
As much as I hate saying it,
Yeah, I know.
because he loves hearing it.
And I know when my dad tells me off, like, I know it's coming from a good place, and I know he's always right. Like, on Saturday night, right, I had my mates round, and we had a bit of food and a bit of Chinese, and I weren't drinking.
Yeah.
But on a Saturday night, I have a treat night. But it didn't look good. Like, I put something on social media. My mates were drinking beer.
Yeah.
I was at home, obviously not drinking, but it don't look good. And he's like, Johnny, that's not what you should be doing. You're fighting in 3 weeks. And when he said it, I was really annoyed because I never had that intention of being like that. But 5 minutes later, I was like, yeah, he's probably right. I should have listened to him and I shouldn't have done that. And
Do you know what I think that comes down to as well? I think it comes down to our age. Because I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
My dad tells me off every day, and for like 10 minutes I'm sitting there like,
fuming. Like, I'm a
"Fuck, you said that to me
23-year-old
for,
man.
like,
Do you know what I mean?
I'm a man.
Yeah.
Like, you can't talk to me like that."
Yeah.
And then an hour later I'm like, shit.
Yeah, he's right. He's right. It always, whatever he says, it's really annoying because he is right at the end of the day.
Listen, they're telling us it because they love us.
Yeah.
If they didn't tell us off, then they wouldn't care.
They wouldn't care,
They're
would they?
doing it
Yeah.
because they want the best intentions for us. Your dad don't. Your dad don't care if anything good happens. He just wants to make sure his son is safe and he doesn't look silly and does the best for himself.
He does,
'Cause
yeah.
that's all it is.
Yeah.
Moving on to your dad.
Yes. Big John.
Big John, the legend. I love Chinese.
Yeah.
Genuinely, Chinese is my favourite cuisine.
Yeah,
I love it. I can
it's
sit
great.
there and order a Chinese.
It's
every
my
day of the
favourite
week.
takeaway by far.
100%. But he takes the piss.
He does.
I sit there every day. I watch his TikTok and I'm like, now I've got to get a Chinese.
Yeah,
Like-
I'm the same. If I'm away and I see him like and he's pouring his curry sauce over the chicken balls and whatever,
He
I'm just like,
smashes it. Them chicken balls he gets. I never used to order chicken balls.
No?
Never used to order
Really?
chicken balls. I swear to you, I never used to. Then I watched his thing once and I was like, chicken balls?
Yeah.
Went and ordered them and I was like, mate, these are banging.
yeah, unbelievable. But yeah, people like when he's doing the videos and stuff, they can't believe he can just rattle it all off like that without the thing as well. It's just he's become a sensation through that. But I don't know. It's just world of TikTok as well, isn't it? Like anybody can go viral for anything, and people are sort of bought into his personality as well now, which is good because he's a genuine guy, and people like
his jokes.
Yeah, he's just a normal guy from Romford who's
Likes Chinese.
Yeah, and now he's doing like a national tour, frying prawn crackers at people in clubs and stuff
Serious?
like that. Yeah, he was in Cardiff last night. He's been all over Oxford. He's been Bath. He's been Bristol. And he's going to Vegas actually in April, all expenses paid for 5 days
way.
with my mum to try out these different restaurants at this downtown casino where they film. You know the film Casino?
Yeah.
That's where they film that. I can't remember what it's called, the Plaza Hotel. So he's going to that hotel to try out all their restaurants. I'm
Listen,
like,
all I can say
that's
to
an
him-
easy way to make money.
Good luck to him, innit?
Yeah,
Good
fair-
luck to him. Fair due. Listen,
Fair play.
He's eating enough Chinese
Yeah.
to be able to do it, so why not? I suppose.
Why not?
innit?
He's got to cash in.
But it must be so good for you to see your dad doing well.
Yeah.
You're doing well. Your brothers are involved in the business. You've also got your sister involved. Mum's involved. It must
Yeah.
be so wholesome when you go home and everyone's sitting there. Your lives must have all changed immensely from going and selling cheese.
Yeah, it
to
was hard,
struggling.
and that was hard. That was a very hard time. But you don't get carried away with yourself thinking, "Oh, my life's changed." We're still the same. It's still the same. Like nothing's changed. We're still all together. We all still live in the same house. I'm looking to move out now in a minute, but we're all just down to earth, normal. We've got good groups of friends around us as well, and it'll always be the same. No matter where we go, whether we had 100 million in the bank or you had nothing in the bank, you're the same people. So don't let that change you.
Chinese order wouldn't change anyway.
No,
innit?
of course. Always find something for some Chinese.
And what's it been like with friends around you? Because you must have had some of the friends come out the woodworks now. You're doing well. Started contact. Oh, what's going on, mate? What's going on? Because I had it as well when we first opened up the restaurant.
Yeah.
People who I'd never spoke to in my
wanna start
life.
talking
Everyone
to.
wants to be a friend now.
Yeah.
And it must be hard for you because you are such a nice person to be able to cut them off and be like, you weren't there when I was struggling,
No,
mate.
but
See you later.
I'm always friendly to people. I'm always polite and always will be. But I know who my real friends are, and I know who they are because most of my mates, my normal mates, they just take the piss out of me. They just, you know who your real mates are.
That's what I was about to say.
And
That's
they
how
don't
you
care
know
about talking to you. Like I'll see him, I'll fight on a Saturday, and then we'll be up the gym on a Monday, and I'll say, "Oh, you fucking done that now. It's not about you anymore. Just fucking shut up." Do you know what I mean? They'll tell you the truth. Do you know what I mean? And I've got a good cousin Michael as well, who's my mate, and I know who my good 4, 5, 6 6 friends are. Do you know what I mean?
That's what keeps you humbled as well.
It is, yeah.
Whereas if you've got yes men all around you all the time, mate, you're smashing it. Yeah.
You need people who tell you the truth because that's when your head does get too big and you think you're the big I am, and you never are because there's always someone, as I said, out there who can always take your head off. So be ready.
But the thing is, you accept that.
Yeah.
And that's...
But that makes me want to train harder.
Yeah.
And that makes me want to do better because I know there's always someone coming up or someone around the corner who can do a job on you. So you've got to always be on your game.
So, Johnny Fisher, this podcast should be coming out before your fight.
Yes.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. If it isn't, then I still want a prediction. A live prediction right now. It is currently the February the 21st.
Yep. So, right, this guy I'm fighting, Alfonso Damiani, he comes to fight. He's 6-2, so he's won 6 and lost 2. He's my first 8-round fight.
Okay.
He's like a fitness fanatic, this guy, so he comes forward. But I think that will play into my hands, and I think I'll get a stoppage.
Round?
I think round 3 or 4.
Yeah, you're going to try and long it out this one a little bit, yeah?
No, maybe. But it's about, I might have to have a bit of control because he is fit and he'll be in good condition. He's had a long time to prepare, and I'm always willing to go the 8 rounds if I need to. But it just hopefully we'll get him out of there sooner.
That's what it's about, innit? It's going out there.
And all that matters at the end of the day, forget predictions like knock him out, points, just win. If you keep winning, you can't be denied, and you keep growing, you keep progressing.
And signing with Eddie Hearn.
Yeah.
What was that like at such a young age? Because Eddie Hearn, I look at him, I think the man's a legend.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I've got a lot of respect for him. He's got a lot of haters out there.
He has. But that means he's doing something right.
I don't know why,
yeah.
but genuinely, I've got a lot of respect for the guy.
Well, I was at university and I'm a massive boxing fan anyway, and I watched the IFL TV interviews and stuff, and I watched Eddie Hearn, and he's become this big character. And then when Sam rang me up and said, look, there's a chance we could get you with Matchroom, because we was talking about other promoters and stuff, and then I thought, that would be unbelievable, because Eddie's gym and Barry Hearn, his dad, their gym was in Romford, the Matchroom Boxing gym, and it's where like Chris Eubank used to go and train.
A lot of them will train up now in Ignite, no? Is it not Ignite? Gone from my head. The one on the... I've trained there a few times. What's it called?
Stafford Abbott's one. The one in Stafford Abbott's.
No, it's called... What's the name of it?
The Matchroom Boxing Gym, that's what I know it as.
Where do you train now?
I train at Origin.
Origin?
Yeah.
That's the name I was
thinking. Yeah.
Upstairs, yeah?
Yeah, upstairs. That's where we train.
Right.
We train up there.
Yeah,
but
Origin upstairs. Because I come there a few times. I used to live in Romford.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. My mate... I was living with my mates.
Yeah.
And we was doing Muay Thai in Thurrock.
Yep.
And on the way back from Thurrock, we was coming into the gym.
Yeah.
Wicked gym, and we went up, popped our head upstairs one day,
Yeah.
and Eddie was up there.
Oh, really?
I thought, wicked, fucking hell, nice to see him.
Yeah,
I just
really?
walked downstairs,
Wow.
didn't say hello to him or anything. Listen, that's what it is. But
Yeah.
he goes there a lot, apparently.
He does. But he's it's good to be with someone like Eddie he took boxing to the next. I know he had Joshua
really
and Cole Frotch and Groves that fight, and then it went like Joshua sort of brought it through, but Eddie has brought boxing to a new level, and everyone says, "Oh, his dad." It's only because of his dad who started it off, but Eddie's taken it to a global level.
He has.
He's really put boxing on the map with what he's done. So to be with a promoter like that, I know I'm in good hands, and all it's up to me. I know it's a business. I've got to keep winning. I've got to keep selling tickets, and the relationship will keep growing.
And what's it like? What do you think about Joshua at the minute with what's happened with his career? And
it's very easy to give someone stick, especially when in this country we like to build people up, and then when they get there, we like to tear them down.
Yep.
That's human nature. But he's lost to Usyk, who's arguably the best boxer in the world, with Tyson Fury in that thing. And what's the disgrace in that? He's got 100 million in the bank probably. He's trained he's trained as hard as anyone else. And all right, he's been beat by Usyk. What's the disgrace in that? And people were very quick to, like, everyone used to be Joshua's fanboy, like, oh, he's amazing, he's great. And then 6 months later, because he's lost, he's useless, he's rubbish.
that's the problem with the UK in general. The guys, Joshua's beat all the people out there who they put in front of him.
He's beat loads of people.
He beat everyone. He's lost 3 fights now, no?
Yeah, 3. 1 to Andy Ruiz and 2 to Usyk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lost 3 fights.
Yeah.
It's not that deep. Get over it. Like.
No. And he's still coming back for more.
He hasn't lost.
He doesn't have to come back for more now, does he?
He can retire easy.
Yeah. So you've got to respect him, man. I've only met him once. I met him at a boxing show. I met him at Dillian White versus Jermaine Franklin.
Yeah.
And I don't know him, but just friendly, humble, normal guy. So just don't people make perceptions and make judgments on people before they meet them. Never do that. That's one thing I've learned, because you don't know what someone's like. Even people you like, you might meet them and they'll be completely different. So don't judge people by what you see on social media.
I 100% agree with that. Everyone judges nowadays. Yeah. Everyone judges. Even I've had people meet me and go, fucking hell, I wasn't expecting you to be like that. What was you expecting?
Yeah.
What did you think? I'm just going to be some arrogant kid. That's but it's what they think, what they see on social media, what their friends tell them. And just because I'm nice to you today. Same thing with you. You might like me. You might think, you might leave it thinking, Mikey's sweet, man.
Yeah.
You might meet someone who you don't like.
Yeah.
And give them no energy and just say, mate, not interested in you. That person's then going to go and say, Johnny's not a nice guy, man.
And that's the problem with social media as well. Social media has ruined a lot of things in the world. It's great, and it's a great tool for people, but imagine like 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, and there was no social media. Like, it's ruined. Everyone wants to get their phone out to film it. I'm guilty of it as well. Yeah, like, you're at a concert or you're at a thing and you want to film it, just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Everyone's too bothered about showing off rather than living in the moment. And there's good things to it, but there's a lot of bad that's come from it.
I think relationships as well.
Oh, big time.
It's ruined them all.
A lot of people think that the grass is always greener on the other side. Even when you're taking girls out, like, who's been talking to them, who's in their ear, who's still in contact with them. Like 15 years ago, if you broke up with someone,
that was it.
Yeah, it was it. You're done.
You're not seeing them again. You've got to drive to their house wherever they live and try and knock on their door and get back with them.
Now, like, and then people go down your phone. Oh, you follow this person, you follow that. Who's this? Like, everyone's paranoid, and it's hard. I don't think that's why a lot of people ain't getting married now. I think like everyone's waiting a little bit longer.
And with you, it's hard enough in general because you probably ain't got time for women right now.
No, it's not. Like, they don't understand. Like, especially at this point, like 6-8 weeks before. But I think it's the best way. I've got to be focused on what I've got to do, and what I've got to do is win fights. And then the right girl will come along who can support me in doing that. So I can't be forcing anything with anyone because that's just taking too much of my energy away. And
it's something where right now you've got to have your head in the game. So arguing with a girl a week before a fight,
they can get in your head as well, can't they? Yeah. Like, they can get in your head, so you've got to just block it out. I'm getting better at it. When you're young, when you're 18,
that's what I mean. Especially now you're young.
When you're 18 and 19, you're like, oh my god, I can't deal with this. Like, why is she not texting? What's going on? Who's she saying? But now, there's no benefit for that.
But the thing is, you must have girls throwing themselves at you as well. Listen, you're 23, 23,
23, yeah,
23 years old. You've got 100,000 Instagram followers. Girls look at that and they look at it and they think, oh, wicked, I want to speak to him.
Yeah, but that's not the girls that I'm interested in.
But
I like the girls who don't know I'm a boxer. Do you know what I mean? And that's like, they like me because of who I am. But there is an element to that, but that's not what impresses me or interests me. If you see a girl pop up on Instagram, I don't know you, I've never met you. Yeah. You like to meet someone in real life, and I think that's when a proper connection's made. When you meet someone just off the cuff.
There's not many girls like that nowadays where they do want to meet up in real life. You say to a girl, oh, babe, do you want to meet up?
Yeah, they don't do it.
No. What do you want to meet me for?
No.
Phone me if you want to talk. I'm like, don't you want to do the old-fashioned thing where we talk face to face, see if we click?
And that's what happens when you actually do get a girl who's like that, and you do take them out a few times, and then you build that connection. You're like, oh yes, she's great. You get excited about it because not a lot of girls are like that now. I don't know, it might be because they've lost hope in boys as well, but it's just harder for everyone now to form a relationship. So 100%. My philosophy is, what's meant for you will come to you. The 100%. Right person will come in. So don't worry about anyone else. The right one will come.
And the thing is, for you, at the end of the day, you're in a relationship with boxing right now. Yeah. That's your relationship.
That's my number one. Nothing else can come in between that. And the right girl will understand that because they know that focusing on that will allow me to take care of everything else.
Yeah, like eventually your goal is to have a family, to have your own kids. But and
to get that, I need to have.
You need to focus on something.
Have a career, and this is my career. And once I've got that, then everything else will build around it.
So look, I know you probably don't want to sit here and say it at all, but if you had 3 fights, 3 opponents, who would you pick?
3 opponents, right? You're going to make me call people out.
No, you're not calling them out. You're just saying what your dream is at the end.
Oh, the dream. The dream.
You've got three people you got to fight.
You've got to be current people.
Yeah, it can't be people who have passed away. You can't tell me.
Yeah. There's one guy we're going to fight soon, actually, who's a bit of a rival of mine, who I went to Vegas and we had a little confrontation there. Christopher Lovejoy is 21 fights, 20 knockouts. Big old guy, but no one's really seen much of his opponents and who he's been fighting. So that's a fight that a lot of people in England want to see. So Christopher Lovejoy, number 1. And then I'd love to fight, I probably wouldn't last very long, but I'd fight Tyson Fury, number 2, because it could be like the king taking on like just a prospect from giving him like a fairy tale chance to win the heavyweight championship of the world. And then number 3, who would number 3 be? It's a hard one. It's a tough one. Christopher Lovejoy, Tyson Fury, and who would you say? Who would you want to put me against?
Do you know what? Styles make fights. Yeah. That's what I say. At the end of the day,
leave the last one to you.
No, you can't leave it to me. It's up to you at the end of the day. But I think styles do make fights, and there's so many fights where look, Joshua versus Ruiz, yeah?
Yeah.
People thought Joshua was just going to storm through him.
Yeah.
No one even wanted to watch that fight.
No.
And he landed.
I was one of them people. I thought, what's this all about?
Everyone said, what's Joshua fighting this fat man for?
Yeah.
That is what everyone said. And he won the fight.
I was shocked.
And I don't know. I love watching fights like that where you have an underdog come in and absolutely just iron at.
Maybe the third guy would be Joe Joyce because he's my mate, and it'd be funny. Like we both fight for the world title, both make a load of money from it. That'd be
and both go and have a Chinese after.
Sail off into the sunset, have a Chinese after.
Literally.
Lovely.
And your hardest 3 opponents sparring? Because you sparred with pretty much everyone at this rate.
Tyson Fury.
What is he like to spar? Because everyone says he's so awkward.
Very awkward, winging shots in from any angle. I've only sparred him a couple of times, but just winging shots in. He can fight defensively. He can be offensive as well.
Do you
very
believe
strong.
He'll beat Usyk?
I think he will because he's just too big.
He's big. He's different.
Just winging shots in from any angle. Like it's very hard to catch him. Joe Joyce as well had lots and lots of tough rounds with him before the Joe Parker fight. We went to Vegas and sparred out there. Just relentless pressure coming forward. I remember the last spar we had. He had his little Cuban trainer in the corner just going, get him, Johnny, get him, Joe, get him, like just telling him to keep coming forward. That was tough. And then third one, Daniel Dubois, he was very tough to spar. I sparred him a few times. His jab is like a right hand.
Yeah, I've heard that. People have said Daniel Dubois' power is
unbelievable power. So them 3 are the toughest spars. And people don't realise the sparring is just as hard as the fights, if not harder in the preparation, because you're sparring people at a higher level than you, been at a more experience than you, and that's what really shapes you as a fighter.
And sparring is the closest thing you're going to get to a fight, so you just got to keep cracking it in.
You've got to do it. You've got to keep getting it in, and that's what makes you as a fighter, them sparring sessions. And you've got to be careful not to spar too heavy all the time, because that's what can take years off your career, just damaging your brain all the time. So you've got to find a fine balance between it.
That's why Mayweather's where he is now.
Exactly. Looks after
hit
himself.
And don't get hit.
Yeah.
And he was the master of that. Listen, when I was younger, I used to watch his fights, and I used to literally just look back and think, how the fuck has he dodged 15 punches in a row? But Tyson's doing the same now.
Yeah.
And Tyson's ginormous.
He's huge, yeah. 6'9", 20 stone.
Is that what he is? 6'9".
Yeah. But my coach says to me before I train, Mark Tibbs, when I spar, because I'm naturally aggressive, he says, just Johnny, sometimes just goes there, go in there, Johnny, and don't get hit. Yeah. And like, don't worry about trying to hit them, because I'm naturally aggressive anyway. So I'm gonna be attacking minded. So that's probably the best advice you can give me, because if you're not getting hit, you're probably not losing the fight.
Yeah, no, and I think whatever you're doing is working. So clearly you've got a good coach by your side, because it isn't every fight you've had so far has been easy to some extent. I don't want to say easy, because nothing is easy in boxing.
It's not easy, but
you've made it look easy.
Yeah, and I'm not saying these guys are the top level guys in the world. There's still steps up every time, but I'm making it look easier than it should be, because these guys have got winning records. They've got knockouts on their lists as well, and they're big old units, and I shouldn't be, compared to other prospects coming through, I'm dealing with them better. So I've got to just keep that going, because that shows I'm stepping in the right direction.
Well, look, at the end of the day, you got 2 weeks till your fight comes up, and hopefully, God willing, you win that fight as well, and I'm sure you will.
Hopefully.
And then I guess it's just on to the next opponent. Yeah. And that's what it is for you. It must be just like your life's a little bit on repeat, because not much is changing. Yeah, the opponents change, but to you, everyone must just be the same thing. Okay, ready to fight you next. That's what it is.
And every camp you get a little bit better. You learn something about your body a little bit better, and what you do well and what you don't. I always find, as I said, something will go a little bit wrong, or you get a little bit ill, and then
you got to fight for it.
You just deal with it. You deal with it, and you get better at dealing with it. So that when you get to that championship level, you've sort of done your apprenticeship of understanding how your body reacts to the camp. And the camps get longer and a little bit harder as you go up the round. So I start off on 4-round fights, and you go to 6-round fights, and it's 8-round fights, 10-round, 12-round. So you're slowly building everything up, and you get into that bigger picture.
And what was your first camp like?
My first camp, so my trainer Mark was in Fuerteventura with Billy Joe Saunders at the time. Okay. So I had my good friend Steve Andrews was looking after me, and it's only 4 rounds, but you don't know what you're going into. You think, it's like a world championship fight. You're so nervous, all the anticipation of you turning pro and all of that. And I got into the fight camp, like the bubble, like the fight week bubble. I was so nervous, most nervous I've ever been. I was going up in a lift to go to my room, and I was just like, my heart was pounding out my chest. Anxiety, huge anxiety. But every fight it gets a little bit easier, because you've been there before and you've done it. But with that one, I think it was just because I've been built up so much within the boxing world. Like, oh, Johnny's done this, he's done that, and I thought if I didn't get the knockout, I'm done, or I'm a hype job and stuff like that. So good job I got it in the first round.
And the thing is, you're staying active as well. So when you take time off, I guess the nerves build up again.
Yeah.
It gives them a chance to build up. Whereas when you're constantly fighting, you don't actually get a chance to think, shit, I'm a bit nervous.
Just got to keep going.
Let's go next.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. After my 5th fight, when I broke my hand, I had to have 3 months off, and that was a long break for me.
Yeah.
And when you come back, you're like not doubting yourself, but you're like
a bit rusty.
Have I got it? Is my power still going to be there? Am I going to be able to perform like I did before? And that spurred me on a little bit, having a little break, because it resets your mind and you have to overcome it again. So little challenges you have to face.
Well, listen, all I can say is it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks, Mikey.
I want to finish it on one last question for you. What is the plan for the next 3 years? What's your goals? You got 3 years. You're 23.
Yeah.
Let's say you're 26 years old.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be in your life? What position do you want to be in?
Boxing wise, it'd be great to have an English title or a British title by then. That would be unbelievable. That would be the people that have held the British title, the heavyweight British title. We've got Lennox Lewis, Tyson Fury, Joe Joyce, the top names. If I can be among them, that would be brilliant. But from a lifestyle point of view, have my own house, be on the way to get my mum and dad their own house or paying off their mortgage, and making sure my family's secure. Because at the end of the day, what are we in life for? We're to make our lives better and make our families' lives better. So that is the key to life for me.
Well, listen, I hope to sit down with you in 3 years' time, and we've got a belt by the side of the sitting on the table. And listen, it was a pleasure having you on the show.
Mikey, I appreciate you having me on, mate.
Thank you for finally coming down and coming on the show.
Done it. Good. Thank you very much.
And go and get back to the gym.
That's it. Not the Chinese restaurant.
Not the Chinese.
Gosh.
Guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode.